Y'all, 295 went down last night. I'm gonna go over what I saw from the fights. First off, the card, I was really excited for it. Just super high level. It was kind of like a throwback card for me. Like back in the day, you didn't really have to talk too much to sell a fight. And looking at all these fights, I mean, every last one of them I thought were had the potential to be very entertaining fights. That wound up being the case for the most part. In style wise, even the fights that I didn't get correct, I think I lost 3 of my predictions, and then I had that one draw. I believe that's how it went down. Every one of them I kind of expected. That's how the fight went. And going over, seeing online, it's pretty much how everyone else had the card. I think it was just a good night of predictions. I think it was a very predictably exciting, I guess, card. So that was just my overall thoughts on the overall card. Couple fights that I want to throw out just to comment on the early prelims. I saw that Van and Borjas fight. I thought that one would have went to I thought someone would have finished it. I was kind of in and out on the fight because I was just getting done from work. Van looked really good. Borjas did a little. He exceeded my expectations a little bit. If I remember correctly, I remember he got taken down at one point, but he did get back up. It looked like, I mean, like I said, I wasn't really paying too close attention to that fight, but it looks like he was, he was finding his range pretty decently. I remember I did sit down and watch the third round, and it was a really entertaining fight. So I think that fight over delivered a little bit for me. Emmers had a quick knockout. I thought he would have clearly won the fight. I thought, I think Emmers has a smooth game. I wasn't sure what I was going to get. That fight was a little bit more interesting just because he missed weight. But man, quick knockout. I guess respect to Emmers, because that was a really smooth performance. Castaneda and Kyung Ho Kong, I was kind of in and out of it. Me and my buddy were talking each other's heads off, so I didn't really get the chance to really sit down and watch it. It looked like Castaneda was getting the better of the exchanges as the fight went along. Close fight, but yeah, I thought Castaneda would have looked a little better than that. To be honest with you, I thought that he had. Thought he was just a little bit more well diverse, but I think what I expected was I thought he was going to get easy shots and easy takedowns. But Kong just had he was really well at managing his distance. And I think that's why Castaneda, he wasn't explosive enough to his entries that he liked, and that was the reason why Kyung Ho Kong was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns. I know he got taken down. He started to fail on his takedowns going in the third round. I believe he fatigued a little bit after that. But yeah, good win for Castaneda. So yeah, all the fights up to that point, and then you had Marco Madsen and Jared Gordon. That's kind of how I saw the fight going. I thought Jared was a little more technical, and he has a way night and day way better feel on the feet than Marco Madsen. Marco Madsen's a really good. Here's the thing about wrestling, y'all. MMA wrestling and Olympic wrestling, there's many different forms of wrestling. MMA wrestling and Olympic wrestling, they're two completely different things. First of all, I want to make a comment on this fight, I'll get to later. Not to go off on a tangent here. Marc Goddard, you can say what you want about the main event. He's what I saw was very biased refereeing. As a referee, you go in the back and you give your instructions, and you go over it because you study your opponents and who all you're reffing, and you see tendencies and you point them out. Marc Goddard literally saw these guys trying to headbutt each other the entire fight. Never said anything. If that was Herb Dean, he would have told you the whole time, watch your heads, watch your heads. But Herb Dean doesn't referee any main events anymore, you know, just because him and Herzog do that too. I can get to Herzog at the end of the video, but not to get too off the tangent. Marco Madsen, he outperformed what I thought he was going to, but I kind of saw, like, if you were to say that Marco Madsen would have won the fight beforehand, I would kind of saw that being how he kind of took place. Jared Gordon early on was trying to hit him in his body. I don't know why. If you see how Marco Madsen is built, you're not hurting him with a body punch. Maybe a knee or something, but these little punches ain't doing anything. But he's like Jared Gordon's like the lightweight Randy Couture. Like it's nothing pretty, it's nothing, but he has a feel for his range. He knows when to get in, he knows when to get out, he knows how to land. And the finish, I believe, was just accumulation of all because he had clipped Madsen beforehand, and I don't think Madsen really gave off that strong of a reaction to compared to how bad he was really hurt. But yeah, Gordon, yeah, really good win for Gordon. I'm really proud of him. Really good story, you know, someone you like to root for, you know, doesn't have to go out and talk trash, but he still got I really like his spirit. That's what I'll say about that. Borshev and Sadikov, really entertaining fight. I knew that one. That one was actually a little bit more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I thought, here's what I thought. I thought that the stand-up would have been a toss-up, and I thought that the difference would have been Sadikov getting the takedowns, which that was true. Sadikov did control, he controlled the grappling aspect of the fight, but Borshev looked really, really slick. Like, you can tell, like, he got on a roll, and you can tell he's kind of one of those streaky fighters. Borshev did an excellent job he found the beat on him early, and you could tell when he was striking, he got a feel for his rhythm super early in the fight. And even after he got clipped twice in the second round, he still had the wherewithal to understand where his range was. And he won the third round after being dropped twice. See, okay. Borshev won that fight. We got to stop this, if someone gets knocked down. It is not boxing. You don't give 10-8s just because someone gets dropped. Because here's the deal, right? Oh, damage, he got knocked down twice. He almost got finished. I understand that. If your argument for a 10-8 round is only you getting dropped, that's the only thing a 10-8 round. Oh, he got dropped. Okay. So what if I drop you back? Do I get a 10-8 there? Do you see where I'm going with this? A 10-8 round, in my opinion, when I started watching this sport, was a coast to close round. You start the round and you control the round the whole way through. And your opponent just can't get any offense off. So, example, Chimaev and Usman, I scored that a 10-8 round. Just because Usman did nothing offensively that first round. If Usman had landed just a 1-2 on the feet, just 2-3 shots on the feet before he got taken down and controlled, that's a 10-9 round to me. A 10-8 round, guys. Go back to the Valentina Alexa Grasso fight. No round in there was a 10-8. That fifth round, okay. Me personally, when I watched it, I thought Shevchenko won the fifth round, but that was actually the round where I was like, okay, if you were going to give a round to Alexa Grasso, I can see it. Just because she almost finished the fight, and it was effective grappling, and she dropped her. I thought that, okay, you can give that round to her. But Valentina was winning half of the round. You don't just discredit half of a round. Like you can't like if that Borshchev fight is if that was a 10-8 round, then like what does just half the round not count? So what if he catches him in a submission and he almost taps, but he got dropped twice? Is that a 10-8 round? No, it's not. We gotta stop doing that. Y'all are so, the community I think is so focused on making a 10-8 round just if someone drop. Go watch boxing or kickboxing then. This is mixed martial arts. This is how can I implement my game plan and nullify your game plan. It's not about getting dropped. Yes, that is a very important part. Damage is a very, very important part to the, but it's mixed martial arts. That's what I got to say. Oh, and one more thing too. What is a majority draw? I don't get this. I don't get it. Like, so if one judge says that one person won the fight, but two others say, I don't know, how does that dude not win the fight? A draw, in my opinion, what is a majority draw? I don't get it. A split draw, okay. You know, you got one guy saying, hey, such and such won. You got one guy saying, hey, blue corner won. Then the other guy says, I don't know. Okay, that's a draw. A draw could be, hey, all three of these guys saying, I don't know who won. If two guys say, I don't know who won, and the tiebreaker, the third guy is saying he won, why doesn't he win? Like fundamentally, like I just came across that last night. Anyway, it was a tremendous fight. It was a really tremendous fight. And I heard a lot of people got bonuses. I didn't really check up on the bonuses. I'm pretty sure that, they got fight of the night bonus and well-deserved. Sadikov is a really, really interesting fighter. He had a banger with Evan Elder. Just had another banger right there. Borshchev looked a lot slicker though. He looked a lot slicker, and I saw a lot of heart out of Borshchev. So massive respect to Borshchev as well. I thought, from my opinion, I thought Borshchev won the fight. Next fight up, Rebetsky and Roosevelt Roberts. Yeah, I think Roberts was just biting a little bit more than he could chew. I did believe that if Roberts had a full camp, made the weight, that he would have gave Rebetsky a really talented fight. Rebetsky looked really well. He performed really well. Proved everything that I thought of him. I think Rebetsky's a really, really talented fighter. I just think he's going to fall somewhere in between that 10 to 20 range. Like, he's going to be a really solid fighter for a really long time. He hasn't lost in 9 years. Like, he is a really respected fighter. But he didn't show me anything that I didn't know already. What I want to see from Rebetsky to elevate himself, to evolutionize his game, I want to see him get in a fight to where he has to get outside of his rhythm on the feet, because grappling wise, he's short, stocky, he's really well for the weight. He's explosive enough to get inside, but I feel like when you get to that upper level, he only fights at, I made a comment where he takes 2 steps in the pocket and then takes 2 seconds out of the pocket, 2 steps in the pocket, 2 seconds out of the pocket. And I feel like really talented fighters are going to catch on to that, and I think that will be the difference. So I just need to see that from Rebetsky. Really good win from not to take a dump on Roosevelt Roberts, but you see in this sport to where sometimes you kind of tell yourself to secede from the fight. It looked like, because right before the armbar, I'm watching this with my homeboy, and I'm looking at him, and yeah, he has his hooks in, but he's on the back and he's against the cage, and Roberts just sat there for almost a minute. I mean, he could have got 2-1, and he could have exploded out of there. But it looks like it looks like he came in and he just he wasn't in fight shape. I think he just wanted a real big name, and credit to him. He stepped up and he took the fight, and he was hungry. He really wanted to make a name that night. I just think that he bit off a little bit more than he could chew. And to be fair, I believe that he kind of jumped into the armbar and he told himself that, hey, I need to get out of here. I wasn't ready for this. I think mentally he was not in championship fight mode. Like I said, all respect to you, because you do see that a lot in MMA. All respect to him though. I still do think he's a really talented fighter. Tabatha Ricci and Lupi Godinez, I really didn't catch too much of this fight, to be honest with you. So I'm actually going to pass by. I was on the way to the bar to go ahead and watch those fights. Then the final prelim, what was the final prelim? Erceg and Costa. Exactly how I thought it was going to go. Erceg, he's really talented, controls the range. He does what he does really well. And was it this comment? Because I remember DC, it was the Van and Borjas fight, I think, where DC saying, oh, well, he's given up positions. He doesn't see. That's kind of how these fight. Costa, when it hit the ground, Costa is really well on the ground as well. He will risk position though, and I think that was the difference in this fight. I think they were both talented on the ground, but I think Erceg follows your hips on the ground. When you see Erceg grapple, especially in that first round after he dropped him, pay attention to his hips. His hips always stay on top of his. Wherever Costa's hips go on the bottom, he follows them. He has enough core strength to not worry about whatever he's doing with his arms and his head. He follows his hips. That's what Jailton Almeida does so well. Jailton Almeida just doesn't know how to transition that into ground and pound. But you can see Steve Erceg knows how to incorporate his ground and pound to be able to grapple well in MMA. That's why I say MMA grappling and all these other different grappling aspects, jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling, it's a completely different thing. MMA wrestling is a sport in and of itself. So, and then on the feet, Costa was attacking him well with the leg kicks, from what I remember. It was just Erceg really knew how to control the distance in that fight. Erceg is a really talented fighter. I wouldn't say he's at a championship level right now, but he's seasoned. He looks like he has enough experience to go ahead and make him a real run. So, like Steve Erceg, like Alessandro Costa, I think in 2 years, you'll see that fight. We'll look back on that fight and be like, yeah, those two guys, yeah, that was early in their career, but they are top 15 talent. And flyweight is just a fun division to watch. Moving to the main card, Lopez and Sabatini. Kind of exactly how I thought it was going to go. Even when Sabatini clipped him, I thought, yo, if you'd have told me, like, this is how Sabatini is going to clip him. Yeah, he clipped him because he fights straight on the center line. And Lopez doesn't have the best defense going in, and it seems like he struggles to time. He struggle. I feel like Diego Lopez is a really aggressive fighter that struggles to find his timing, and I think that's how sometimes he gets clipped on the feet. Because yes, he does. Like I said, he's a very aggressive fighter. He implements what he's going to do rather than worry about what you're going to do. And he just has a knack for finishing fights. I think he has over like 80% finish rate. Sabatini caught him clip coming in. Wasn't worried about it. Hit the mat. Got back up. And then I think I looked away from the actual finish and what actually clipped him. But I just saw Sabatini got dropped. He finished it up. Fair play to Diego Lopez. He's really talented. Right now he's the hottest featherweight in the world right now. Match him up against any featherweight. Any featherweight. Take the rankings out of it. Match him up against any featherweight right now. See how he does. I'm not saying he wins, but I think he'll make any fight at featherweight competitive. So that was my takeaway coming away from it. Benoit Saint Denis and Matt Frevola. Kind of how I thought that fight was going to go. Frevola opened up. Frevola is dangerous, but he's inaccurate. I think when Frevola does well on the feet is when his opponents give him a lot of respect on the feet. Because when you have someone that you need to earn your respect first with Frevola striking, Frevola swings and bings, and he throws everything to it. He kind of gives up his balance when he's throwing. Like, he'll throw his balance off shooting. And the hook shot, they're just they're fairly inaccurate, to be honest. And yeah, Benoit does. It's odd. He throws that, he throws that front kick with power, but it's almost like that's his preferred rangefinder. And the crazy thing about Saint Denis is, I thought he would have comfortably won the fight. And Saint Denis, he's got a lot of, even when it does hit the mat, it in the UFC, it's typically been from him hurting his opponent or dropping his opponent, or one of the two. I think he's actually a better grappler than he is in the stand-up department. I would still like to see how he does against a little bit more adversity. I don't think that he will ever hold like an undisputed title, but I do think he is an elite fighter in that division. Right now, I think he's top 12. I think he can comfortably compete with anyone in the top 12. He might not beat anyone in the top 5 right now, or maybe ever, but he is super, super talented. And I think he still has the most underrated grappling in that division. So congratulations to Saint Denis is one of my favorite fighters. Ever since I saw him debut, and he took quite a beating in his first fight. And you can tell he's a soldier for real. He is different than a lot of human beings. I just appreciate the mindset and spirit, So good win for Saint Denis. Tough luck for Frevola. Respect Frevola a lot too. So third fight, Andrade and Mackenzie Dern. I kind of thought that's how this fight was going to go. I thought that everyone was just focused on Mackenzie Dern's last fight, and I thought that folks were focused too much on Andrade losing 3 in a row. And yeah, like, it's not typically that big of an indicator on how a fight's going to go as, oh, she's going, or such and such going through this, and this is the first fight since Andrade filed for divorce, right? Like, I know this isn't too much action, but this is still a factor. This is still a factor, and this is one of the factors I thought that was going to play into the Volk and Islam fight. I picked Volk to win, but it didn't. That divorce is still fresh in your mind. You're going out there. Her mindset: I've lost 3 fights in a row. If I lose this one, I might get cut. I'm facing a divorce. Your mind is in a special type of focus, and you can try to manufacture that focus. Mackenzie Dern just had her highlight win. Dern's just coming off of that. You can tell yourself, you can try to self-motivate yourself, and you try to get your mind to that level. Man, it's really tough to manufacture that. And I thought that Andrade just would have, because Andrade, it's not like she lost her talent. She just kept getting caught. And you can see a clear difference in the mindset and the urgency in a fight like her versus Erin Blanchfield, and a fight like her versus Mackenzie Dern. And she fought a really smart fight. She didn't follow Mackenzie to the ground. She kept knocking her down. She kept telling her to get back up, and that's what happened. 2 title fights I predicted wrong. I thought Sergey would have won. I thought Yuri would have won. Heavyweight MMA. Sergey comes out, clips him. Tom Aspinall pinpoints his strikes. Sergey just didn't get there fast enough. That's one of the most exciting things about. See, heavyweight MMA is so boom or bust. It's like, okay, is someone going to get knocked out in the first 2 minutes, or are they going to gas themselves out in the first round and then go to decision? And that was still a really legitimate, question, just because are they going to give each other too much respect and one of them overcome a barrage and then it kind of drags out to a decision? Or is it going to be lights out just like that? Tom Aspinall caught him. Tom Aspinall, heavyweight champion of the world, yeah, shout out to Tom Aspinall, and shout out to Sergey as well. Put up a good performance. Stumbling on my words right now. Aspinall, he doesn't have to talk smack to get everyone to like him. He's just like you. He's just like me. I mean, everyone watching this video, that's at least, I'd say, 18 years old. How many people do you know? Because I'm pretty sure everyone knows at least one guy that growing up that actually really had the talent, especially in the smaller cities, had real talent and could have went professional at any sport. But, something happened. Whether it was kids, it was injury, or, they get into other things. And man, Tom Aspinall was one of us, and he just kept going. And, shout out to Tom Aspinall. That's something that you can watch him, you can feel really proud for him. He took a chance, stuck his head in the fire, could have got knocked out, could have lost a lot, bet on himself, and a story of perseverance. Shout out to Tom Aspinall in the main event. Just kind of going back, it was a great fight. I had Pereira winning the first round. Yuri was starting to come on. In that second round, I'd say a minute before that fight ended, I think he clipped him, tied him up against the fence, and that's what Yuri was going. That round was going Yuri's way. The straight punches. See, that's what the whole fight came down to. Alex is a very the force from each other's punches come from two completely different places, and it's the same. And I think that's why Pereira and Izzy matched up so well. Is the force from their shots are centripetal motion forces. They wind up, and it's a lot of core strength when they shoot. That's why it's leg kicks. Pereira's leg kicks is one of the most unstoppable forces right now because he can control the range with anyone. I mean, he's a two-weight division world champion kickboxing, so the range is there. That leg kick, I mean, and the way he settles into his distance, a lot of people talk smack on, oh, Pereira just get lucky. It's just no. Pereira is going to be a handful for any man. He might lose a fight here and there, but he is going to be a handful for anyone at the top of the division for years. Well, probably not years ago. He's mid-30s, but man, I see the talent. I really do appreciate it. A lot of people say, oh, why doesn't he just fight a wrestler? He's going to take him down. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. Those leg kicks are different. Those leg kicks are different. He was hurting Blachowicz in his tree trunks. Like we know what Blachowicz brings to the table. Yo, he was snapping up Blachowicz like he doesn't throw anything into it. He doesn't have to telegraph or wind up, and they're there, and it hurts, and it's such a big obstacle to overcome. Yuri, when he throws his power, they say they come from weird angles. They're always straight punches, but they just come from different angles. They're always, or I might have to lean here, but it's boom. And then I might have to come here, but it's boom. It's not this, it's boom, boom, boom. I heard someone this week mention he doesn't have a Keith Jardine style, but I think that's like the closest thing you can get to it. Super unorthodox. The stoppage. Now before I go, let's talk about stoppage. Marc Goddard, after watching, after giving it a day, he might have actually called the fight at the perfect time. Still very biased. Him and Herzog, still very biased. That's why they referee all the title fights. Here's the difference in between Aljamain Sterling's fight and Yuri Prochazka. Sterling, after getting rocked, fell back and turned away. Not intelligent defense. After getting punched in the head 7-8 times, fell back, turned away, right? And I know what you're saying. Yuri did the same thing. Understood. Here is the small detail that makes a world of difference. Yuri, he probably could have been out whenever that fight stopped. He is still intelligently defending himself. He still has his hands grasped around Pereira's waist. Conscious or unconscious, you are intelligently defending himself. And I know what people are saying, oh, well, why don't, well, if you go out, you know, the fighter's safety, it needs to be stopped. Colby Covington, if we're going to play that game, Colby Covington got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. Fighters go out for a split second of the fight all the time. Am I saying that Yuri Prochazka was not about to get finished? No, I'm not. Because I thoroughly believe that Yuri Prochazka was about to be finished in that fight. Understood, right? But, okay, if he breaks that grip and he just goes back and his eyes go back, perfect time, stop the fight, you know? He was still intelligently defending himself. Now let's go over to Goddard, right? Izzy actually had a legitimate complaint about him after his first title loss. I thought, you know, people were calling sound great. No, it was a legitimate complaint. He said in that Gastelum fight, you know, that 5th round, that fight should have been stopped. But no, he gave Kelvin more than any opportunity he ever wanted to get back into that fight. You know, that fight should have been stopped. Okay, you know, things happen, and, you know, then you go to the Kamaru and Colby first fight. That's well documented. I don't even need to get into that. Then you go to the first Adesanya and Pereira fight, which I still think was the right call. But here's the thing, I can understand why Izzy said that, you know, he could have still kept going, but Izzy was not intelligently. He could have still been consciously defending himself, but it wasn't intelligent defense. And after a certain amount of clean shots, it's like, hey man, you know, I got to do what I got to do. So I kind of understood that. Here's the big complaint, right? You know, going back to that Jared Gordon fight, you know, yo, you give instructions, man. You dictate how you want a fight to be seen. Yo, these guys, the whole fight tried to headbutt each other. You didn't even make a call. Hey guys, watch your heads coming in. Was that never even explained during the back? No. Jared Gordon just went to a no contest because of a headbutt. What are you doing? And then he knocks him out and he has to follow up on the ground? What about that was intelligent defense? That fight reminded me of the Tank Abbott fight back in the day where he knocked the dude out and he's, you know, what about that was intelligent defense? Oh, no, just keep the fight going, you know. Yeah, man, you know, Dana White and them, you know, they really hope Pereira wins, you know, so Izzy can go ahead and light heavyweight championship. Yeah, man, let's go ahead and book Izzy, you know, just, you know, so the light heavyweight division, after, you know, 3 years of, you know, stalled divisions and draws and title fights and injuries to the champion. And yeah, come on, Izzy, let's just stall all the other contenders out, you know, in that division as well. Just like we're doing in heavyweight right now. Just like we're doing in welterweight with Leon and Colby. You know, Colby's fought 1 fight in 2 years. And yeah, man, Colby, yeah, Colby, yeah. Lightweight with Poirier and, you know, oh, yeah, we can't do the Oliveira rematch that we just saw last year, but say, yeah, let's just push it back another 6 months, you know. Heck, if Conor McGregor wins, you know, man, he's in the conversation. Yeah, let's stall that division as well. Yeah, let's stall featherweight with Volk keep jumping up. Why are we stalling all these divisions? It's annoying. And I think at some point in time, let me stay on topic here. That's why I believe that Marc Goddard was, he might have accidentally got the call right. Still doesn't change the fact of the matter. Marc Goddard, you are influencing these fights heavily. There was from my understanding, there was a parlay boost on that fight. That should be the sign. There's a parlay boost going around. You do not need to bet on that fight. We've seen it in countless many of sports where there's a parlay boost that night and something crazy happens. Something crazy with the officiating, the judges, anything. Something crazy happens. New York is a terrible state to fight in because there is so much money that is influencing these fights. And Herzog, you thought Herzog was just gonna get away with him? While I was explaining earlier. No, I came back to it. Herzog ammonia, and this was from a couple months ago too. This is why I grouped Goddard and Herzog together. They love having Herzog referee those big main fights, right? Just like when he took a point away from Costa after no warning. He knows what he's doing as well. Not only that, here's my concrete evidence about Jason Herzog, right? Let's rewind, what was it, in August, I believe? When Sandhagen fought Rob Font. Corey goes out there, he tears his tricep. Corey states in the interview after the fight, hey, Herzog, he's a genius, man. He walked over to me. I thought I was, hiding it well. And Herzog walks over to me. He's like, is your arm all right? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, cool. Herzog let them lay on each other for 25 minutes. I said that whole fight, and Corey Sandhagen was one of my two favorite fighters. That fight should have been stood up. That fight should have been stood up because I'm saying, okay, if they're doing this for 25 minutes, Herzog's looking at this and saying, oh, these are two very high level fighters. We're just going to, we're going to let them. There was no activity in that fight. That fight should have been stood up. Even though Corey was beautifully taking time in his entries and he would have kept taking him down. That's how the fight was going. But he kept letting him get back up, right? So, okay, I know what you're thinking. That I don't mean too much. Here's the thing. The very next week, this is where it showed. Cub Swanson fought Hakeem Dawodu in the co-main event, right? And stand-up fight. You can say whatever you want about the judges and whatnot, right? The end of the fight, Dawodu takes Cub Swanson down, right? Go watch the fight. Go watch this fight. The very next week after he let Sandhagen lay on him for 25 minutes. Not even 10 seconds in after he takes him down. Hey guys, I need action. No, shut up. You don't get to do that, man. Your bias has been exposed. Okay? So that's the only thing. It was a sour note, but I still appreciated the card. Fun card. I just wanted to go ahead and get my thoughts out there. Kid MMA. Check back in probably another day or two. Have something else out. Take care.